The rain poured relentlessly that evening, soaking through the lonely streets. Outside an old, abandoned house, a German shepherd sat motionless, eyes fixed on the gate that hadn't opened in months. His name was Rex, and he was waiting for the person who might never return. And Rex had once been full of life, a loyal companion to David, a young man who had rescued him as a frightened puppy years ago. David had found Rex trembling beside a dumpster, ribs showing, eyes filled with fear. Instead of walking away, David knelt, whispered softly, "It's okay, boy. You're safe now." From that moment, Rex's world revolved around him. They became inseparable. Morning runs, late-night talks, road trips with music blasting through David's old car. Rex wasn't just a dog, he was fat. He could sense when David was sad, and he'd rest his head on his lap as if to say, "You're not alone." But life has a way of testing even the strongest bonds. One winter night, David left for work as usual. He gave Rex one last pat, saying, "Be good, buddy. I'll be back soon." He didn't come back. A tragic accident took David's life that very night. The world moved on, but Rex didn't know how to. He only knew that his human hadn't returned. And so, every evening, he waited by the gate, ears perked, tail still wagging in faint hope. Days turned into weeks. Weeks into months. Neighbors noticed him, some offered food, others tried to take him in, but Rex refused to leave the place where he last saw David. Each night, he'd lie beside the door, staring into the darkness, waiting for familiar footsteps. One day, a woman named Emily, who had moved into the neighborhood, began leaving food for Rex. At first, he wouldn't come close. He'd just watch her from a distance, as if guarding the memory of his master. But Emily was patient. Slowly, she gained his trust. She learned about his story from neighbors, and her heart broke. She had lost someone too, her father, who'd also loved German shepherds. So helping Rex felt like healing her own wounds. One rainy night, she found him shivering under a tree. She wrapped him in a blanket, whispering softly, "It's okay, you don't have to wait anymore." For the first time in months, Rex leaned into someone's touch again. The warmth he'd missed for so long returned. Faintly but surely, Emily adopted Rex officially, bringing him home. At first, Rex would often sit by the door, still waiting. But with time, he started to heal. He'd play fetch again, go on walks, and even wag his tail when Emily came home from work. One evening, Emily found an old photo in David's house, David holding Rex as a puppy. He framed it and placed it near Rex's bed. When he saw it, Rex stared for a long time, then rested his head beside it, closing his eyes peacefully. It was as if he finally knew his best friend was gone, but his love would live forever. Years later, Rex grew old. His fur turned gray, his steps slower, but the sparkle in his eyes remained. One morning, Emily found him lying beside the photo, his breathing soft, peaceful. He had quietly passed in his sleep. Emily whispered through tears, "He's finally with David again." The morning sun rose gently over Emily's backyard, its golden light touching the old German shepherd's face. Rex had grown frail, his once strong frame slower now, but his eyes still held that same fire of loyalty. He had lost so much, yet found peace again. But destiny wasn't done with him, or with Emily. Months had passed since Rex moved in with Emily. The loneliness that once consumed him was fading, replaced by quiet companionship. Still, some nights Emily would find him sitting by the window, staring at the horizon, as if his heart still listened for footsteps that never came. Emily would kneel beside him and whisper, "He's watching over you, boy. You don't have to wait. You don't have to wait anymore." But Rex's loyalty ran deeper than understanding. He wasn't just waiting, he was keeping a promise. The promise to never forget. One evening, as thunder rolled and heavy rain drenched the neighborhood, Emily received a knock at her door. A young soldier stood there, drenched, trembling, holding a tattered photo. "Mom," he said, voice shaking. "Did you know a man named David?" Emily's heart skipped. "Yes, I knew of him." "Why?" The soldier smiled faintly. "I served with him before. The accident," his voice broke. "The accident." His voice broke. He used to talk about his dog all the time, said his name was Rex. At the sound of his name, Rex's ears perked. He limped toward the door, staring at the soldier with wide, tearful eyes. The man knelt and whispered, "Hey, buddy, I know you." He showed me pictures of you. For a moment, time froze. It was as if David's spirit had returned. Not in body, but through the memories carried by this soldier, whose name was Ryan, stayed for tea. As he talked about David, His laughter, his courage, his kindness. Rex lay at his feet, listening, tail gently wagging. Emily noticed something remarkable. Rex, who had been so quiet for months, began to respond again. He barked softly, nudged Ryan's leg, even fetched David's old photo from the table as if saying, "You knew him too." Tears filled Ryan's eyes. He never stopped talking about you. Rex. He said if anything ever happened, he hoped someone would take care of you. Emily smiled through tears. He found someone to do that, and you brought his memory home. Ryan began visiting often, taking Rex on short walks, helping Emily with chores, and sharing stories of David's bravery. It was healing for all three of them. But time was catching up to Rex. His legs grew weak, his breathing slower. One afternoon, as they sat under a tree where David once played with him, Rex rested his head on Emily's lap and looked at Ryan one last time. There was peace in his eyes, as if he was saying goodbye not with sadness, but gratitude. Emily whispered softly, "It's okay, Rex. You've kept your promise." A breeze passed gently through the trees, carrying the sound of distant laughter, like David's voice echoing in the wind. Rex took one final breath and closed his eyes. Days later, Emily and Ryan buried Rex beside David's resting place. They placed the photo of the two together between them, the man and his loyal dog, side by side again. Ryan saluted, whispering, "A mission complete, soldier." Emily added softly, "And love fulfilled." A year later, Ryan adopted a rescued German Shepherd puppy, brown-eyed and spirited, much like Rex once was. He named him Hope. As the puppy played in the same yard where Rex once sat, Emily smiled. The cycle of love continued, from one loyal heart